Hi, it's Matt Weatherby here, and a night or two ago I watched a real quick TED Talk. It was only about 5 or 6 minutes long as opposed to most of them, which are closer to about 15 minutes. And it was some pretty good sized guy from Texas that grew up in a family that ate meat all the time, and he switched to veganism. Like, they were taking a trip in a car with one guy who knew a lot about nutrition, and he offered them a challenge to go 1 week without animal products, and all four of them tried it, and they all did good, and it wasn't much of a struggle. And I have no doubt whatsoever believe in that, because as I mentioned, both when I went vegetarian and then later when I went vegan, the first couple weeks I felt better. So I could definitely see you go in a week and there not being any issues. But then he figured since that went so well, he would try a month, and then he just kept going, and he's been a vegan a long time. And I've heard enough of these stories now where things have seemed to go so seamlessly and so much without trouble that I have a few different theories. One, people are misrepresenting things to support their cause, but that's seeming less and less likely to me because there's so many stories, and I don't think there's this many people out there doing that same thing. I think some of these people are straight up telling their stories the way they went, perhaps all of them. So that leads me to a few other things. One of them is that I'm sure you're familiar with a trainer named Paul Chek. He was a big influence on Elliot Hulse, and I heard of him before I even knew of Elliot Hulse, because when I was going through my personal trainer program, sometimes the master trainer I was training under would mention him from time to time because he was well aware of all the different famous trainers out there. And he has the theory that different blood types require different diets. So it could be that a lot of these people have blood types that are very, very compatible with the vegan diet, whereas maybe I had one of those that wasn't as compatible. And I know a lot of people don't believe in that theory, and maybe it's not true. So another thing I think may be the case is maybe since I did the switch when I was over 40, my body was a little more set in its ways and more used to doing things a certain way. Because I remember about, 5 years ago or so, one of my coworkers at Mama's, he was this old funny guy. He reminded me a lot of George Carlin. He had a real cynical, sarcastic, reality-based humor, and he cracked me up. But he always was doing horrible stuff. He was like an alcoholic and smoked like a chimney and ate really, really bad crap. He was like all pointless, empty sugars and whatnot. And I don't know, like, it took a toll on him over the years, obviously. He was, I don't remember how old he was, but he was either in his mid-60s to mid-70s. It's hard to tell depending on how people treat themselves. He could have aged a little faster, so he could have still been just in his 60s. But he got like negative reports at the doctor and stuff, so he started trying to finally do some stuff right. He started trying to eat better and drink water and not smoke and drink as much. And like, when he did this, his health took a drastic turn for the worse. And I don't know how long like purging cycles last or how long it takes to do things, but I do know that it lasted long enough that he just threw in the towel and gave up and figured, screw this. Like, when I tried to do what worked, what's supposed to be good, I felt worse, so I might as well just do what I like. And so he's still doing all that bad stuff that's horrible for you because he didn't like the way he felt when he tried to do stuff right. So maybe my body was already stubborn, maybe it was already set in its ways. That I know 40's not that old, but I eat a lot, so maybe the fact that I was establishing those patterns with so much frequency for that long, they got set in pretty deep. I don't know what it is. I know it's crazy seeing all these videos and seeing everything seem so simple for everyone else, and that I had to struggle so hard. Thankfully, due to my good friend helping me out, I'm finally doing great. I love the way I feel finally. Like, not only do I feel good and healthy and not have any issues, but my strength's coming back. Like 405 went up super easy on the deadlift today, and doing a triple with 365 was no problem whatsoever. I don't feel like I'm like strong yet. Like, I probably couldn't do 455 right now, but at least I'm in the right direction. I know I could probably do 425, 435. So I'm headed back to where I want to be, instead of where before I couldn't even do 225. That was just ridiculous. So I just voicing my thoughts on some of that, because it just seems weird seeing other people talk about something that was so easy and positive for them, that was such a struggle and so painful in my own personal experience. So for any of you out there who are more like me and the switch wasn't easy, because I came at it with a super positive mindset. I was coming from it with a place of abundance. Instead of thinking what I couldn't have, I was enjoying all the new things I got to have, and how it opened up room for more super nutritious vegetables and fruits. So I was looking at it positively. So it wasn't like my mindset was what was causing the trouble. It was my actual physical body. And this may be the case for others. I know a lot of other people have attempted to do these diets and quit. Unnatural Vegan did a video on how she read a lot of these blogs and stuff, and said that only one of those people actually went out and did a blood test, and she's still a vegan, and the rest of them went back to what I would consider far less negatively impacting diets. But they did have meat and stuff, but they were way more conscientious of what they did, because their eyes were open when they did veganism, and they didn't want to go back to the way they were before. So they're still doing a lot of good choices and stuff, but they did go back to eating meat. And she said a lot of them never did blood tests and stuff. They just said this didn't work, and then when I switched back to this, I felt better. And I can identify with that. Luckily, I had my friend who had enough knowledge and experience having a similar lifestyle pattern that he could help me out. And so I'm in good shape now, and I'm happy about that. And I'm just letting some of you out there know that maybe have seen nothing but all these easy transition videos, that it's not easy for everyone. But even if you're one of those people with a stubborn body that doesn't cooperate with your desires, there's ways to make it work, and there's ways to be strong and healthy. So just have to make sure you have the right stuff inside you.